Yo! What is up, everybody? What is up? Thank you. Welcome to episode 55 of the Plait Show. Like I said, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by to watch my mischief. First things first, today's episode is sponsored by Gold Peak Tea. That's not true, unfortunately. Make sure you are subbed to the Patreon. I tell you guys this every week, and not a single one of you listens. I need this. You need this. Listen, if you sub to the Patreon, like I said, for as little as $3 a month, $3, that's all it takes. Bro, you spend $3 when you're fucking sleeping. Just do it. Please. Please do. I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but it would be cool if you did. Also, t-shirts available. But let's get into this episode today, guys. This is a pretty cool episode. You know, if you're alive, you know that the draft was this week, and we will touch on that. And I got some other really cool stuff that I want to talk about today. But I'll update you guys on some of the stuff I touched on last week. No news on the job front. You know, if you're wondering why you didn't hear anything, it's because I didn't have anything to tell you. So that's why. Car situation, still up in the air. Still up in the air. I'm hoping to be on some new wheels by the next time you guys watch the show. I hope so. I really hope so. I need a car. But yeah, man, there's been some cool stuff that happened this week. Not so much for me, but just in general. You know, I'll take that back. There has been some cool stuff that happened for me, but I'll get into it at a different time. So I tell you guys this every week, you know, how my week goes, and you know, really was not much different than every other week that has led up to this one. You know, worked all week. You know, I had to work Monday to Saturday, man. 6 days straight. Get that Sunday off. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Even though it's going to be stormy, of course. Work on Saturday, it's like 70 degrees. It's sunny. It's a beautiful day. I mean, I don't know that I would have done anything, but, you know, I said this last week, you know, regardless if I'm going to do anything, just the capability to do something is enough. You know what I mean? I'm going to slide this out of your line of sight. But yeah, like I said, just the ability to be able to do something it means a lot. But maybe tomorrow will turn out, maybe Sunday will turn out being pretty good. You know, when you're watching this, you'll know. You'll know if it was a shitty day or if you'll know it's a great day. But yeah, it's my second Saturday night in a row, man. That sucks. You know, I understand. You know, with the way things are going at my work right now, you know, we're short-handed, so you know I'm okay with it. But man, and it's not just even on Saturdays. It's all through the week. You know, that's my schedule. And man, it's hard to get much accomplished when you're always working. You know what I mean? But hey, we're gonna power through it. And I hope you guys love this episode. If you're watching this, make sure that you go ahead and drop a like and a comment. Make sure you press that subscribe button. Turn those post noties on, baby. Do it. What are you, scared? You are. You won't do it. You're scared. Prove me wrong. Yeah. But I got some funny stuff that I want to talk about too. So I will talk about some other stuff that happened to me this week. So on Tuesday, I was running an errand. You know, as us humans do. You know, we love running errands. And I was running this errand before running this errand, I don't think it's necessary to enunciate the D at the end of errand. You tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's super necessary. Um, but I was running this errand at a time where when I got done with it, I could just head on over to work. That was the plan. Well, I get done, and I get done about a half. Actually, it's about an hour before I have to be at work. And I get a phone call from my mother that says, "Hey, I need you to go pick your nephew up from school and take him to his daycare because your sister is having a baby." So I think I touched on this before. I touched on it last week. My sister, she was ready to pop, and sure enough, on Tuesday at 4:54 p.m. she did. So like I said, I had to be late for work on Tuesday because, like I said, I had to go, which was cool. I picked the little dude up. Before I picked him up, I stopped by Wendy's. I got him a little kids meal. I went and scooped him up from school. I'm like, "What's up, dude?" I'm like, "You hungry?" And he's like, "Yeah, I haven't had lunch yet." I'm like, "All right, I got you." So I handed him his little Happy Meal. Mind you, Wendy's Happy Meals, if I was a kid and someone got me that, I'd be like, "What the hell is this?" I'd be pretty upset. Like, I remember when I used to get Happy Meals, like, sorry for the chair squeaking. I need to get some WD-40 on this sun gun. But when I was a kid, like, if you got a kid's meal, you was getting a toy. Whether or not it was a cool toy, it could be a toy that you have no idea how to use it. It is, janky, whatever, but it was still a toy. I get him this Happy Meal, and I don't even look at it at first. Like I see that everything's in there, and then I go and pick him up, and as he's looking through it, he's like, "Oh, what's this?" And I was like, "Oh, that's your toy, man." Well, he opens it. Well, he pulls it out, and it's in it kind of looks like a book. So I'm thinking, okay, it's like a little comic book, or it's something like that. I'm like, that's kind of okay, that's fine. No, he opens it up, and it's a craft. It's like a DIY. Like, why are you giving this to a kid? You think that's what he wants to do? Oh, I just ate this food. When you're a kid, it's like, even my big ass, when I was a kid, I was like, okay, I ate, now give me a fucking reward. And the reward, if you got a Happy Meal, was some sort of toy. You wasn't allowed to get the toy till after you was done. No, this dude gets done eating his Happy Meal, and his toy is like I said, it's a craft. It's like a bunch of pieces of paper, and you got to fold them up, and you got to. I'm like, dude, what is this for? Why is this necessary? Just throw a fucking. Dude, you could throw anything in there. You could throw just a random thing you found back there. Throw in a damn frozen French fry. He's going to be like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of cool." Start hitting people with it or something. Throw a piece of plastic in there. Let them use their imagination. After you, so like, I guess I'll explain kind of what it was. So it was, like I said, it was like a bunch of pieces of paper that you would fold up, or it was one piece of paper that kind of worked as like a tray, and you folded up the sides, and there was other papers that you would there was like inserts down this tray paper that you folded, and you would put these other pieces of paper in it. You would slide them in these slots, and you would make like a landscape. Like, what are kids playing with? Like, is this what kids are into nowadays? Is that what's going on? Like, I feel like if you're gonna get your kid a kids meal, or if you're gonna be selling kids meals, I think every kid's playing like Roblox and Fortnite. Just throw in a little voucher for if throw in like a 500 V-Bucks little voucher in there. Something that's, they might not be able to buy nothing with it, but they'd be like, "Let's go eat," and you'd be like, "Hey, you're not getting these V-Bucks till you eat all your Happy Meal." And they're like, "Oh, okay." Kid, man, I would be scarfing down one of those, get some V-Bucks, dude. But anyway, the toy was stupid. It wasn't a toy. It was a workshop. He was cool with it, though. I mean, shout out for being grateful. I would have been grateful too, but I just would have been a little upset that that's what you give me. whatever. But I give him the food, and like I said, he didn't even look at the toy at first. He grabbed a hold of that cheeseburger, and usually, like my oldest nephew, like he is not the biggest eater. Like obviously he eats, but like he's not a dude that's like, I gotta get me all this food I can. But I hand him the bag, and he gets a hold of that cheeseburger, and man, he scarfs that thing. He took that thing down, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, what's this?" Probably because it wasn't enticing at all. He probably thought it was like paperwork or something. Here's your toy, a W-2, fill it out. Like, no, I don't want to do that. But then I drop him off at his daycare, and he has a good day. And I show up to work late, like I said. And then yeah, little baby Isaac, my newest nephew Isaac, was birthed. So hopefully they're cool, man. My thing is with babies, I'm not really cool with them for a while, man. Like you gotta hit like at least a year and a half until I'll start fucking with you. Like my two oldest nephews, like the one's 2 and the other's 5, about to turn 6. Like they're my homies, bro. Like they're my ride or dies, for real. But like this new one, it's like, man, new kid on the block. Like I don't even know you, bro. Step off. You want me to hold you? Hold yourself, bro. Stand up. Learn how to walk already. Like, bro, you've been alive for 5 days now. It's time to pick up the pace. Come on. But yeah, and even holding babies, like you ever be around, like, your friend has a kid, or someone in your family has a kid, and they're like, yeah, do you want to hold him? Some people are like, oh yeah, I'd love to hold him. Not me. Nope. I don't want to hold your baby. Because my thing is babies kind of freak me out. Like, I think a lot of girls hold a baby and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to make one. Not me. I hold a baby, I'm like, please. I'm like, I will do anything not to have one of these fucking things. This is too much. It's like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but it's bad, man. It's just, it's gross. It's gross. Don't have babies. The world's overpopulated as it is. I know you've always wanted to have a baby and name him Charmin. I don't know. People be having weird names for their babies too. I bet there is a kid that was named Charmin like yesterday. I guarantee it. And their parents are like, hey, little Char Char. Like, that's not a good name for your baby. I'm just here to tell you. Get mad at me. I don't care. But that's a stupid name. And people don't understand that neither. Like, people want to be so unique, and I understand that. But there's like a line. There's a line between unique and then, like, you're fucking with this kid. Like if you named your kid Charmin, if Charmin toilet paper's been around for this long, you don't think it's going to be around in 10 years when this kid's in school? Peak bully time? Like, this kid is going to get fucking torched. And it's going to be your fault. Just name him something regular. Or if it's not something regular, if you want it to be unique, you can still make it unique. Like I got Hawkins and Grayson. Shout out my boys. they're the homies for real. And those are unique names. But they're not like stupid. Hawkins, I could see him running into some bullying at some point in his life. But then again, I don't think a lot of kids are going to know about Stephen Hawking. So I think he's probably safe on that aspect. I don't think... Actually, I think that's the only thing that he could really run into. But like I said, ain't nobody going to know who Stephen Hawking is. And if they hear about him like in like a science class or something, they're not going to know that he was who he was. One of the smartest dudes in the world, but, not somebody you'd really want to be compared to. You know what I mean? In a physical standpoint. Maybe mentally, yes. But physically, no. Okay, we're gonna jump off this. This is a little dodgy. Sorry. Hey, by the way, I talked to you guys about this the Instagram TikTok last week. I was telling you it was doing numbers and stuff. think it slowed down? Hell no. It broke 1,000 likes. I ain't never got 1,000 likes on nothing. I don't know what I told you guys it was out last week, but like I said, it's over 1,000. Some people comment on it. Some dude commented on it and said, "Yeah, I just got the news. My dad was killed." I was like, "Oh shit!" I wanted to take it down, but I was like, "It's okay, man. I don't get to choose whether it's good or bad news. You know, I say good news. It might not seem like good news now, but you know, maybe one day you find something out. You know, I don't know. Again, another dodgy topic that I want to talk about. I'm just gonna hop off that train. But yeah, shout out Isaac. You know, I'm sure once you get older, I'll probably rock with you, but as of right now, I barely know you, bro. I barely know you. So you're definitely playing third fiddle to my other boys. That TikTok, that Instagram TikTok, still getting likes. Still getting likes. Also, follow me on TikTok. I think I'm gonna start posting some funny stuff on there. I've been thinking about it. I've been in the lab, as they say. I've been thinking of some funny little skits and stuff. But yeah, other than that, on Tuesday, that was really the majority of anything that really happened that was any excitement throughout my week. So I'll talk about some other stuff, like what happened. Yeah, I picked my nose. Sorry. But let's talk a little bit about the draft. So the draft started Thursday night. Thursday night was all the first round picks, and there were some huge names that came off the board. I think right off the bat with the first pick, being an old boy from Georgia. For whatever reason, his name is Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker going number one. That, at least in my opinion, that was kind of like I didn't see that one coming. I figured it was a lock for Aiden Hutchinson. But the Lions, you know, they were lucky enough to scoop him, and I think he is probably, if not the best in the draft, one of. At least I hope so. Hope I'm not jinxing the dude. And you had some other awesome guys. You know, Kayvon Thibodeau, another edge guy. Sauce Gardner. I've come to the decision that the next time, like, I'm drunk, I'm not going to say I'm drunk. I'm going to be like, bro, I'm Sauce Gardner right now. You probably don't think that's funny. I think it is. So, you know, those some Ohio State receivers, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, they got took in the first round. Also, you had Jameson Williams from Alabama. And, you know, I could sit here. I remember last year during the draft, I sat on this for a while. You know, I went through every single pick and was like, oh, and that's a good pick because of this. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And I sure as hell don't know what I'm talking about this year neither. But I'm not going to waste your time with my rambling about what I think I know about NFL prospects. But what I do know a little bit about is the Steelers picks. So, you know, repping the boys in black and gold. In their first round pick, they go ahead and they scoop up Kenny Pickett. What was crazy to me is that Kenny Pickett was not only the first quarterback taken, he was the only quarterback taken till the third round, I think. I don't think there was, till the third round. There wasn't a single quarterback taken in the second round, and there was only one taken in the first. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk that the 2022 draft class is not it wasn't a super good quarterback class, but still, I mean, for them to, even it not being a super talented one, like, there was enough there with some talent that I was kind of like, really? Like, y'all think that they're that bad? Like, I don't think that they were that bad. You know, I thought a lot of the guys had a lot of good upside. But then again, I don't know. I'm not Mel Kiper. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I'll be excited to see what Kenny Pickett can bring to Pittsburgh. You know, he played his college career in Pittsburgh, so he don't really got to go nowhere. I wonder if he's kind of upset about that, though. I wonder if he was like, all right, played college in Pittsburgh, now it's time to move on. They're like, actually, you're staying. You're not going anywhere. You know that apartment you were living in? Yeah. you better tell your real estate agent pull that thing down because you're staying. You're sticking around, buddy. Um, so I'll be excited to see. Steelers, they still got Mitch Trubisky. They went and drafted another quarterback in like the sixth round, seventh round. Dude out of South Dakota State, I believe. They also got Mason Rudolph. There'll be some competition for sure. I'll be excited to see. I think it's a lock on either Pickett or Mitch. I'd like to see Mitch have the reins, just because I feel like nobody has really got to see Mitch play with like a good team. Sure, he was on the Bills, but he didn't get any PT. And when he played on the Bears, he shined at times. He wasn't a full-time star. But like I said, he had some shines, some flashes, as they say. So I think if he gets the shot with a good team, Pittsburgh might have screwed themselves on going ahead and getting Kenny Pickett, because they might got their quarterback of the future in Mitch Trubisky. I don't know. That's probably taking it a little too far. But nobody knows. So Pittsburgh in the second round, they go ahead and draft George Pickens, receiver from Georgia, big body guy. I look to see him being the starter right off the bat. At least I hope so. They went ahead and got DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle, Texas A&M. Dude looked like a monster. I don't know a lot about him, but I watched some highlights on him. Dude looked pretty good. And I think the coolest one that they drafted, other than Kenny Pickett, was Connor Hayward, Cameron Hayward's younger brother. And that makes Pittsburgh have 4 sets of brothers on their team, with Terrell and Trey Edmonds. You have TJ and Derek Watt. You have Carlos and Khalil Davis. And now you have Cameron and Connor Hayward. I figured, so I watched all like 5, 6, and 7 rounds today on Saturday, only because I have a friend who I played football with in high school who was up for the draft. He was in the draft, and I really thought that he was going to get drafted, so I wanted to watch it. Just seeing the clip isn't the same as watching it when it's going down. So I watched the whole thing in anticipation, hoping that he was going to get drafted. Unfortunately, he did not get drafted, but fortunately, he got picked up by the Eagles shortly thereafter the draft was over. So shout out Josh Sills, guard for the Philadelphia Eagles. Played in high school with him. Played high school, yeah. We used to play high school all the time. Played football with him in high school. So shout out to him. But as I'm watching the Steelers picks too. I'm mainly watching it for Josh, but when Pittsburgh comes up, I'm like, all right, who are we about to get? So they went and they drafted, like I said, they drafted another quarterback late, a linebacker, I don't know, some other dudes that I'm not very familiar with. But when I saw that Connor Hayward was still available, and I saw that Pittsburgh was up, I was like, dude, there's no way they don't take him. There's no way. Like, you got to take him. Like, regardless if he's good or not. Like it's Cameron Hayward's little brother. And sure enough, they did. And hopefully he turns out to be pretty good. But also in the draft, the Jets are one team that probably had the best draft of any team. They went ahead and got Garrett Wilson. They got, Sauce Gardner, like I said, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall. I don't know how many of y'all know about Breece Hall, the running back for Iowa State. That dude was a beast. Straight beast mode. Garrett Wilson, like I said. Another Buckeye, Jeremy Ruckert, who, if you watched Ohio State football, seemed like that guy had played on the team for about 13 years. Good to see that he actually got drafted. And then they also grabbed some other no-name guys. By no-name, I hope that they turn out to be, great players. But no-name meaning I don't know who they are. I don't know their names. But I'd say in terms of the draft, the Jets probably won it, man. I mean, it really helps when you have 3 first-round picks. You know, in the NFL, I feel like in compared to other leagues, I won't speak for every league, but just compared to like the NBA, having a first-round pick feels like it doesn't mean as much because like you'll see first-round picks in the NBA get tossed around like it's nothing. In the NFL, like you will trade your 10-time Pro Bowler, 10-time MVP for a first-round pick. It could be the 32nd pick, and you'd be like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And you could go out at that 32nd pick and draft a complete fucking turd. But you're like, well, at least we had the shot. But yeah, the Jets, you know, they had the 4th, the 10th, and the 26th pick in the first round. Then they had the 36th overall, which means the fourth pick in the second round. Yeah. So I'd say they probably won that one. And you know, like I said, there's so much more stuff I could talk about in the draft. I will say one thing. Watching the ESPN draft, you know, the first night I watched the NFL Network's draft, and it was enjoyable. You know, they had Kurt Warner, they had Rich Eisen, Charles Davis. You know, they had some nice guys on there talking. And the ESPN one, they just got some dudes that got like obnoxious voices. Like I hear them talking, I'm like, just quit. I don't want to hear you anymore. And another thing that was making me mad, and maybe they do this on every like airing of the draft, but like when it got in the late rounds, like they would, like say on the 150th pick, you know, Johnny Thompson gets picked by the Buccaneers. They're like, okay, nice pickup from the Buccaneers, Johnny, whatever I said his last name was. And they'll sit there and they'll talk about him for like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, like 5 other teams have already made their picks. So they're talking about this old Johnny boy, Johnny Thompson, and 5 other picks have been made. So now they're like playing catch up. So they're like, oh yeah, and then the next pick was Gary Fredrickson and he got picked up by the Dolphins. And then they'll spend another 10 minutes on that guy. And now they're like 10 behind. And they're just playing catch up. So I didn't really like that. Like, just let me see a brief thing. Let me show me like a little highlight tape. Say you like them or you don't. Blah, blah, blah. I'm good. I don't need to hear anything else. You don't need to. Like, they were having like interviews with people. It's like, bro, I'm not here to watch a press conference. I'm here to see who's getting drafted by what team. Even though I didn't really care. But anyway. Man, I was on Twitter today. So I think I've talked about this. One thing that I always do before I record a show is I'll go on Twitter and I'll kind of look at all the trending stuff. And since the draft was this week, you know, a lot of the trending page was kind of flooded with different draft stories and stuff. So I was like, because you know, I already planned on talking about it. But I get down to like close to the end and I see Megan Fox is trending. I'm like, oh, you know, we've all had a crush on Megan Fox. I wonder why she's trending. Well, I look. Man, her and MGK are weird as hell. So weird, dude. Like, for one, like, I've never really been a big, like, a huge MGK guy. You know, like, he's got songs that I enjoy, but I've never been like, he's my favorite, you know. Like, he's never had a song that was my favorite. And he's definitely never been my favorite artist. But I've never had any ill will towards him. And I've definitely never had any ill will against Megan Fox. But I look at this, and Megan Fox goes on and say, I don't know if MGK's done this to her or if she's just whacked out, dude. I have no explanation. I don't think anyone does. But she comes out and says, you know, I don't know if she said it to like her friend or she said it in an interview or whatever. But she says that she believes that she manifested MGK's existence when she was 4 years old. Excuse me? When you were 4 years... Whoa! I'm so confused. Like, I got questions that I don't think anybody can answer. I don't even think she can answer, if I'm being completely honest. Like, how do you... For one, I feel like the manifest movement, I don't know if that's what they call it, but like the manifest movement has not been something that has been around for a long time. You know, she's probably in her mid 30s if I had to guess. Let's just say she's 34, so say 30 years ago, back in 92, right? Yeah. Yeah, back in 92, you think he was manifesting something, especially at 4 years old? Man, my nephew's 5 years old. He don't know. If you told him to manifest something, he would be like, excuse me? Like, I bet she probably just, like, had an imaginary friend that was, like, kind of scary or something. And now she's like, whoa, it makes sense now. It makes sense. But, dude, so that's not even, like, that's weird. The fact that you think that you manifested your boyfriend or husband or whatever when you were 30 years ago. But what's weirder is that apparently, and again, I didn't do a deep dive on this because I was super just weirded out. But apparently she says that her and MGK drink each other's blood on occasion. Excuse me? You do what? You drink each other's blood? What are you, a fucking vampire? No, that's not okay. Where do you, like, again, too many questions to be answered with that one too. Like where do you cut? Do you cut your hand? Do you cut, do you get like one of those like blood pressure things and prick your finger and then like stick your finger in the other person's mouth? Like the thought of tasting someone else's blood makes me want to throw up. In complete honesty, like that sounds absolutely disgusting. Like even me, like even like I've tasted my own blood, like that's gross. It's gross just from myself, let alone someone else's blood. What if you don't know what these people got? There's no way that they went and got tested for blood-borne illnesses before they did this the first time. I wonder how it happened. I bet like MGK was like skateboarding or something. He came inside and he's like, oh, fuck, scrape my knee. She's like, come here. She like starts licking his knee. He's like, what the hell? And then eventually he just caught on with it. And he was like, okay, this is cool. This is what we're doing now. But that's so weird. Megan Fox, what happened to you? Back when you was with Shia LaBeouf on Transformers movies, you were so cool. You were so hot. Now you're like, get away from me. Fucking Dracula, weirdo. Man. And like I did last week, there's some funny stuff that I've been thinking on this week. One, for instance, like, have you ever had mice or rats? Like, have you ever lived in a house that had mice or rats? Or, if you've lived in your house your entire life, have you ever had a mouse or a rat in your house? Like I've had mice in every house I've only lived in like 2 houses in like my memory. I think I've lived in more than 2, but I can only remember like 2. But there's been mice that have popped up. Now I've never lived in like an infested house before, but like, you'd be watching TV one day and you see some shit like run across the carpet and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then you realize it was a mouse and you're like, okay, let's burn the house down because that's disgusting. Mice are one thing that I can't deal with. Like, they're not to the point where I would say I'm afraid of them. Like, I would say I'm afraid of snakes. Like, if I ran up on a snake in the woods, I would scream and I'd probably piss all over myself. If I seen a mouse, I would probably it would probably scare me because I probably wouldn't see it coming. But like they like gross me out. they're just like little dirty and stinky and conniving. Like, there's nothing about a mouse that I like. Like, you ever have a friend that has a pet mouse or a pet rat? Like, yeah, hey, here's Bubbles. I'm like, if you don't get Bubbles out of my face, I'm gonna fucking run him over with my car. I don't mess with them, dude. Like, let me know if you've ever had mice in your house. I feel like that's a pretty normal thing to, maybe not to have like a lot of mice in your house, but like to have had it happen once or twice. Like I said, I've probably had the situation maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. And like I said, dude, like you're always like on edge. Like you're like, oh fuck, I hope this thing doesn't crawl in bed with me. Like, what do you do at that point? I remember one time in school, there was a mouse in the school. And again, like I said, especially when it's like wintertime, mice are just like every other kind of animal. They need to get warm. And mice are like the most bottom feeding like little creatures. Like, they don't want to do anything for themselves. Like, they can't go out and make a damn house like the rest of us. No, they got to break into somebody else's house. Also, what the hell do we have houses for if mice can get in them? Dude, our windows. Your windows always closed. Doors always shut and locked. How do they get in here, dude? Like, if you want to fucking rob a bank, get you an army of mice or rats. They're going to fucking figure out how to get in there. One way or another. They will dig their fucking way through anything. It's like, hey, Bubbles, get in that vault. And they'd be like, oh shit, okay. They'd like slide through. They probably like shapeshift. They probably like, they'd be like big burritos and they like shrink down into like a little tortilla. But I don't mess with them, dude. I do not. I don't like them. Nothing. Like I said, they're just gross, man. It's the same thing with like a possum. Like, if I ever caught a possum in my fucking house, you can guarantee the fire department will be at the house putting a fire out because the house will be engulfed in flames. Those things are gross. Again, not scared of them because I know all you got to do is like stomp towards them and they like pass the fuck out. But like, they're gross, man. Have you ever seen one of those things? It's just like a big rat. It's like a rat and a cat got down on the mat. They had sex. Like a rat and a cat fucked and they made that. Like, that's gross. They're gross and they're not cute, man. I've seen so many people be like, "Oh, I want a pet possum." Okay, you want rabies? Fine. Like, there's only been one person ever survived rabies, so if you're trying to break a record, then I guess be my guest, but like, no. Keep it away from me. I don't like it. It's one of those things like you see driving and it's like you would think it's like, oh, I hate these so much. Like, I'm going to go out of my way to hit it. It's like I hate them so much that I'm like, no. I'm like, car, you better not touch that thing. Because if you touch my car, I'm like, take that shit back to the dealer next day. Hey, I just wanted to trade in the car. Oh, what's wrong with it? It's like, oh, it fucking hit a possum yesterday. It's like, oh, well, there's nothing really wrong with it. He's like, I know, but it touched a possum, bro. Get that shit out of here. Man, speaking of mice and stuff, I had a friend who we used to always get like chips off of. Like, his neighbor was like the chip guy. Like, he like stocked chips for like the Doritos, like Dorito company or whatever. And like this dude, there would be like maybe a little expired or like the package would be damaged a little bit or something, and he would hook this guy up, or our one friend, with all these chips. And like, dude had so many chips, so he was just handing them out. He was like, bro, if you want the family variety pack, I'll hook you up. Well, my one boy Speedy, he got hooked up one of these days, and he was the first dude with a car. So he was the dude who's like, yo, let's go to Taco Bell. Speedy, come over here. We hop in his car, we go somewhere. Well, like I said, he always kept this family variety pack of chips in his trunk. And like, there was like Cheetos, Sun Chips, Doritos, everything in there. Well, one day, you get in there, you be like, yo, let me get a bag of these chips. He's like, all right, boom, pop the trunk for you. And you get in there and you grab a bag, and you're like, man, it's like, okay, this must be one of the ones that was damaged. It's already popped. So you grab another one, and like the bottom is like eaten out of it. And there's like crumbs all over the bottom. You're like, what the hell? It's like, bro, you got fucking mice in your car. How do you get mice in the car? In the house, it's like, okay, I get it. But in the car, ugh. If I had mice in my car, no, absolutely not. There's no chance in hell that I'm gonna confidently drive that car ever again. I could rip every piece of interior out of that thing, and I still wouldn't feel right about it. Like you'd be driving, and you like brush your leg up against the door, and fucking just wreck, just because you're like, oh, it's one of them fucking, it's one of those mice. Oh, dude, like I said, I don't mess with them. If you got a pet rat, pet mouse, why? You're not helping any. If you want a pet, get a cat, get a dog, get a fucking turtle. Even get a ferret. A ferret's just a big ass mouse too, but they're not as gross. They're kind of weird. They got really flexible spines. They can do some cool shit. Get one of those. Get rid of the rat. Especially if you be like, oh, and you like put it on your face. Yeah, hold it up there so I can fucking get a double kill. I'm taking you both out. I'm taking the rat out because it's gross. I'm taking you out because you don't think the same as me. That's gross. Another thing, dude. I started thinking about this. Do you remember? I started thinking about it when I was rewatching last week's episode with the trampoline, and I started thinking about other stuff that I used to do, like on the trampoline or after the trampoline and stuff. Airsoft guns. We all had some airsoft guns. Let's be honest. We all had a few. Those things were a blast, man. I really can't remember the first one I had. I can definitely remember my first experience, like seeing one or being around one. My friend Tyreek, who's, you guys know him, been on the show a couple times. He was the first one to get one. He was a big Nerf guy. It was Nerf for nothing at first for him. But then, he upgraded. That's the step up. It goes Nerf, Airsoft, Remington, sniper rifle. I don't know. But he like I said, he was a big Nerf guy. I remember he had this fucking minigun Nerf gun. It was the coolest shit in the world. But after he got that, he found out about airsoft guns. He's like, man, get this shit out of my face. And he went and he got airsoft gun. It was just a little pistol, You shoot random shit in the house. You shoot your pillows. You shoot the lampshade. You'd find something that you're like, oh yeah, and you'd shoot it, and turns out you accidentally broke it, and you're like, oh fuck. You're like, okay, like I honestly did, like I think I busted a hole in a couple lampshades, and if you did it, like you would, tilt the lampshade to the point where like nobody's seeing it. Put that part all the way at the back, like to where it's like up against the wall, so nobody suspects a thing. But I used to have a couple, man. I never had any really cool ones. I think at one point I had like an AR one, but I got it super cheap because it was a super cheap one. Man, now that I think about it, what the hell was I into as a kid? Because like I said, I was never really into the airsoft guns. But what was I into? I was into wrestling. I was big into wrestling and stuff. But I feel like there was a time after the wrestling stuff where I should have been playing with airsoft guns. And I did upgrade to BB guns though. Like I'd go outside and like I'd see a bird just minding its business and I would try. I never did kill one, okay? PETA. I never did. But I was always fucking trying. I was like, man, come on. I gotta get it this time. I gotta. And I never did. Sad, but I never did. But you be shooting random shit. Man, I shot somebody's car one time. I was terrified. I did it just, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I did it. And they stopped. Middle of the street. And they're like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, I start fucking hiding. I'm like, what's not? I'm like, please do not come over here. But dude, airsoft guns, dude, I can't tell you how many times I'd clean my bedroom. You know, you like clean under your bed and you find like 300 airsoft BBs down there, and you're like, oh shit, I've been out for 2 months. Sick. You just load them things up, go shoot your dad or something. Dude, me and my dad used to take turns shooting each other. They're like, Dad, can I shoot you with the gun? He's like, yeah, if I can shoot you after. I'm like, oh, okay. So he'd be like, all right. He'd turn around, like cover his neck, and I'd get him right in the back. He'd be like, oh, dang, that's a good one. He's like, all right, your turn. And I go over there. He'd shoot me. I'm like, oh, damn, Dad, what the fuck? You know, like, you didn't have to shoot me that hard. It was bad, man. I did have one that I actually had up until like a couple months ago. I couldn't tell you last time I used it, but I had it for a while, and I can't remember where I even got it. But it was like real metal. Like if you didn't know any better, like if it didn't have that bright orange tip on it, and you didn't know any better, like you would probably think it was like a real gun. That's how cool it was. But I got so like I don't know. I thought I was, and like like this is gonna make me look like an idiot because like I said, this was probably 6 to 7 months ago. This happened, but I thought it was like I had fun. I'd take the clip out and I'd shove it back in. You know, I'd do like cool tricks with it and stuff. Like I'd be holding the gun upside down and I like throw the clip up, try to catch it in there, and eventually it broke the button. Or I'd like pretend I was like emptying it, and then I'd hit the button, drop it out, and I'd pick it back up and jam it back up in there. But it broke the button that released the clip, so I just ended up tossing it. It was cool. It was a cool gun though. I'll tell you that much. It was cool as hell. But yeah, like I had friends that had snipers, had fully like Tyreek. Man, he had a fully automatic AK-47 that, no lie, like I said, my little pistol, like you would think it was real. Like compared to this AK-47, like it had real wood on it. Like it probably used to be a real gun, and someone was like, let's decommission this thing and make it fun for our kids. He probably spray painted the orange tip back to the regular color. Like it was some crazy shit. I remember one time, this is like senior year of high school. Actually, I think it was the last day of school, like junior or senior year. And we go over to my one friend's house, and we had bought tarps and a bunch of baby oil and dish soap, and he had a hill, and we stretched these tarps down the hill for like a big slip and slide. And you know, we were having fun with that for a while, but then, you know, we kind of got bored, wanting something else to do. Well, my friend, you know, the friend whose house we went to, his little brother's like, oh, hey, somebody get on the back of the four-wheeler. He tied a snow sled to the back of the four-wheeler and had somebody get on it, and he was dragging them around the yard. Well, you know, we're watching it. We're like, oh, that's hilarious. Well, friend's house, whose it was, he goes inside and grabs his, you know, I think if you would have threw a real bullet in there, it probably would have shot it. But he goes in there and grabs his airsoft gun, fully loaded, and just sits up on the porch. And as he's getting drug around on the four-wheeler, friends up on the porch just beaming him at him. And he's like, ow, oh, oh, thinking he's getting like stung by bees or something. Like, oh man, it was a great time. And then after that, he got pissed at him. You know, guy getting shot, pissed. He found something random in the yard and started chasing him like he was gonna stab him with it. And I was like, whoa, guys, I think we might have went a little too far. Like, we're bringing out some homicidal tendencies from this guy. Like, maybe we should, you know, tone it back a little bit. But everybody's like, nah, that's good. It's hilarious. You know, I wasn't going to lie. It was funny. It was extremely funny. But, you know, on that day, I feel like we might have unlocked something that we weren't really ready for. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, let me know your crazy airsoft stories. Let me know your crazy mice/rat stories. Let me know let me know what you're up to this week. Let me know what you did last week, how your mom's doing, how your dog's doing. Let me know all that stuff. because I care and I need to know for a school project. But thank you guys for watching episode 55 of the Plait Show. I hope to see you back next week with some new wheels, with some news, with some cool shit to talk about. But yeah, guys, make sure you sub to the Patreon. Make sure you sub to the YouTube channel. Make sure you are. If you're listening, go over to YouTube and subscribe. And if you're watching, just go down there and click the button right now. Do yourself a favor and turn on post notifications as well so you never miss an episode. We've talked about this. Like I said, t-shirts. I still got t-shirts. If you need a t-shirt, hit me up. Follow me on TikTok at Plait69 because I'm going to start posting some funny stuff on there. And you better like it because I think it's funny. It's probably not funny. It's probably not. But I think it's a little funny. So, with that being said, guys, like I said, thank you for being here. Have a great week. Your father loves you. Peace.